Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another post-match review here. I am Riccardo. I'm joined by my friend Sabrina. Pretty good game here. Milan come out victorious over Fiorentina 1-0. How are we feeling today after the game?
Amazing. I mean, I know it was frustrating, but I'd never felt like the Bologna and Torino games where I thought we're not going to score. I knew the goal was coming, as frustrating as it was to wait that long. So nice to see it end the way it did, and we absolutely needed this win just to keep the guys going. So, over the moon right now.
Frustrating is definitely what I would say. To go ahead and wait over 82 minutes before Rafael Leao slots a goal to the back of the net. Plenty of chances for Milan throughout the game, lots of misses on sitters, but yeah, very frustrating to go ahead and have to wait there. And now we have a 5 point lead here over Inter in the Serie A with the game in hand here. They're playing against Udinese in just a handful of minutes here, in less than 45 minutes. So hopefully Udinese can go ahead and continue their form and give them another back-to-back loss for Inter in Serie A. That would be pretty great. But we're here to talk about Milan Fiorentina. As we said, it frustrating to go ahead and have to wait 82 minutes for the goals to go ahead and come, but Rafael Leao getting it done. Sabrina, what does this mean going forward for the Scudetto?
Oh, it's just another kind of not as dramatic as when we won against Lazio, but it's another dramatic late win. And it'll do wonders for the squad, I think, because, we saw what happened with Inter. That game has been over our heads for months, waiting. Okay, and we're ahead, but Inter have a game in hand. Inter have a game in hand. We finally saw how that game played out, and I knew that whatever we did in this match would be a telling sign for the rest of the season. Because if we could see that, knowing we're in the lead and come out and get 3 points, which we've kind of struggled to do, usually when we're the ones in the lead, we tend to slip up and make mistakes. So I thought if we could get this win, it's a really good sign for the rest of the season. Because we have the head to head with Inter, we could still afford to have one draw and 2 wins in our last 3 games. So it gives us a bit of breathing room. It's a huge boost to the guys. And now the pressure's on Inter. The guys can regroup, rest, and go. So this is great. Great. We're in the best scenario possible with 3 games left to go.
I'll go ahead here and give a quick overview of the standings right now. Milan sit at the top with 77 points, having played 35 matches. And just below us is Inter, having played 34 matches with 34 matches here. 72 points, 5 point difference. Again, they go up against Udinese here, who Udinese just beat Fiorentina previous weekend at the 4-0. Man, I thought that was going to go ahead and have some effects into this game. Fiorentina continuing to lose games. They're trying to go ahead and turn things around, especially if they're trying to go ahead and make some European competition. I mean, they're only 2 points away from Roma, who sit at sixth place right now in that European Conference League. So I thought both teams were going to go ahead and go out there and just clash, but got a little bit more of the sense that we were a little bit more dominant on the attack. I thought
Yep.
the chances we were missing were just more heavier, especially that Leao over the top of the crossbar. I
Yep.
think that was pretty heartbreaking. But okay, we got the goal there at the 82nd minute. Rafael Leao, Forza Milan, guys. We have a lot to go ahead and talk about player ratings here, team discussion, a little bit of what this goes with the Scudetto race, and I mean we touched a little bit here about Inter uh, and how they have a match against Udinese coming up. So we talked a little bit about that breathing room we have point wise, gives us room to go ahead and if we do have a draw here coming up, don't like draws. I feel like we always talk about 0-0 here, and that's wasn't the case today. It looked like it was going to be the case today, but no. So go ahead here and just discuss here an overall Milan performance before we go ahead and pull up the player ratings here. Is this the Milan that shows their title contenders? They're at the top. Is this a Milan performance that was really giving us the signs that we have what it needs to go ahead and finish the season winning the Scudetto?
Yeah, I think overall I wasn't really too disappointed in any one player. We surely can pick out who were the weaker of the side today, but I think overall it was a really solid performance. Aside from not being clinical in front of goal, which we have to say, if you look at the rest of the teams that were contending this year, I know Napoli's a little bit behind the pack now and they're kind of out of the race, but everybody struggled in the same way. So it's not like we're doing anything glaring that's saying we don't deserve to win this. But the fact of the matter is, a team can't win every single game by 3-4 goal margin. So it was frustrating to not be as clinical, but at least we were creating chances over and over. We weren't stopping. We weren't saying, oh, it's not working out and just getting frustrated and giving up. It was a really solid defensive performance. Mike Maignan out of this world. Like when he saved that one shot where it looked like it was going in, I thought, okay, like we've got it now. We have to win now. That was phenomenal. Oh, and the header as well. That like the intelligence that he has to come out, unlike what we saw with Strakosha last week when he came out and handled the ball outside of the box. The intelligence that Maignan shows every week to say, okay, I got to get this ball out and I've got to make sure I don't do anything that's going to put my team in a bad position is just something that I'm sorry we did not have with Gigi Donnarumma. We just didn't. So to have that, I thought today Tomori and Kululu, who kind of struggled in the last few games, were absolutely solid once again. Our fullbacks were doing well. Calabria, after having some average performances, I mean, he kind of missed a sit or two, but I thought defensively really solid. The midfield was working well. Kessie, again, a little shaky in attack, but him and Tonali were great in the midfield. And just the amount of chances we were creating, this is a squad that they handled this game. This is a squad that you can look at and say, yes, they deserve to win the title.
Mm-hmm.
So absolutely, this is a performance that we can look back on. And yeah, we can nitpick and say, Brahim made some poor choices here and there, blah, blah, blah. Macias wasn't exactly on it today like he was last game, but that's just nitpicking. That's just trying to say something. But overall, as a team performance, you can't really say that we had big gaping holes in our squad today. So really, really solid performance. And if we didn't get that goal, it would have been a real shame because I think we really deserved all 3 points today.
Yeah. In comparison to the previous matches where we have tied 0-0, I think this one was one of the more convincing one where I thought we definitely need to go ahead and walk out with some points instead of just 1 point draw. And the goal eventually did come. So I'm going to go ahead and say, before we go ahead and pull up the player ratings, how spectacular is Mike Maignan? I mean, man, coming into first season Serie A here is just building his confidence to have someone who can just dominate and have that control of the box and then just be so spectacular. He flies. His reaction speeds are amazing. Plenty of games here where he has kept us in the race. He's definitely one of my favorite players this season. A lot of the games where, you know, Serie A, you win 1-0, a 1-1 could go ahead and ruin the whole evening. Last minute goal here. Very sound to go ahead and keep us in the game. And well said to go ahead and say Kalulu and Tomori finally going ahead and finding their right footing again. Past few matches, average to below average performances here. Maybe a little bit of that confidence drop, but it looks like, you know, this is just a match that the boys really needed to go ahead and step on the gas and keep going to go ahead and try to win the Scudetto.
Yeah.
Go ahead here and pull up the ratings. A little bit more fair today. Player ratings here brought to you by our friends at the back of Milan Reports here. You could see that Stefano Pioli with a rating of 7, and they deemed Rafael Leao man of the match with the rating of 7. So those are the ones that stand out the most. You can also see that Mike Maignan has that 7 rating up there. So those three definitely great performances from Leao, Mike Maignan. Looks like Pioli might have gotten this right today with putting the right players out there and the right substitutions. Overall, just taking a quick glance at some of these ratings, looks like majority of our squad here is, you know, sitting at that 6.5, or, you know, maybe we're at that 6 average right now. So not a bad performance here, although 1-0 um, showed the score. We definitely, showed like we played more than that. The guys were definitely shooting a lot, getting great opportunities. So that didn't do justice, but we got the points. The 3 points is what matters now. So, however we get them, we get them. And we'll go ahead and just start right off the bat here with man of the match here, Rafael Leao, getting the chance to go ahead and break the deadlock here in the 82nd minute with a poor distribution from the goalkeeper and then just picking it up in the final third. I think we had like 4v2 in the attack going into that. So definitely glad we went ahead and put that away, just slotting it at the near post. Rafael Leao, rating a 7, fair, Sabrina?
Absolutely. I thought he was phenomenal all game. And the only thing that you can really say about him was that, yes, he missed a few sitters, which were frustrating. But for most of the game, Italiano was telling his players, mark him out of the game. He had two players on him whenever he would come near the net. So it was really tough for him to try and break through that. And I'll give credit to Pioli for seeing that, okay, they're doubling up on him on that side and subbing in Rebic and letting Rebic take over that left side and pushing Leao to the right. And it freed him up. And he's the one that scored our goal. So absolutely beautiful with the footwork. And now he's finding ways around the fact that other coaches are trying to mark him out of games, and that's only going to be great for us if he's doing that. So absolutely well deserved man of the match with a rating of 7.
He continues to show how explosive he is when he dribbles and how aggressive he can take on the 1v1. And it's scary to, have Rafael Leao come at you and doing his little scissor kick and then he's gone next to you. Comes to an advantage for us here. Man of the match for you, Sabrina?
Yeah, absolutely man of the match. Even if he wasn't the one who scored, I think he was creating so many chances. So,
Mm-hmm.
and if it wasn't him, the only other option would be Mignon because he kept us in the game, put us in a position where we could go ahead and win that game. But yeah, deserved man of the match for Leao.
Well said. I'll go ahead and move over here to the defense here with Theo Hernandez, Calabria playing our outside back here, the fullback positions, both getting the rating of 6.5. We touched here on Calabria a little bit, looking a lot more sharper here in his performances. He's definitely gone ahead and picked it up a little bit. Another sitter missed here. Not going to go ahead and be too harsh on it. But Theo got that goal taken away for I think it was that Macias offside on
Yeah.
his right foot, weak foot. It's a really nice strike. Theo continues to go ahead and not only be an option in the attack, but a serious threat. And really do get to see how critical and how crucial his forward runs are after he beats a few players and then he gets fouled here. Or being able to go ahead and connect with Leao and providing service for a forward. So definitely excited to have a player like Theo Hernandez on our team. It's definitely a huge difference of what we have on the other side with Calabria. I feel like Calabria is a little bit more defensive minded than Theo is. However, they both went ahead and put in a shift, and I thought Calabria showed a little bit more leadership. He's been wearing the
Mhm.
armband, so if he is going to be wearing that, it comes with a lot of pressure and responsibility. And I think
Yeah.
he's been doing just fine stepping up to the plate the past few games. So we only have less than a handful of matches to go. So again, with him, it seemed like this whole season we talked about mentality. So I think with him having that armband and then hopefully leading the guys and showing the appropriate mentality, I think this is just all set up pretty well for him to go ahead and end a really good season this year. And hopefully, we get to go ahead and see him back in the Rossonero shirt, continue his future with the club. Who knows? He might even be our captain next year going forward. So we don't know that. But I'll move over to the center back partnership duo here, Fikayo Tomori and Pierre Kalulu. As always, a wall at the back, looking to go ahead and find their feet here after some below average performances in the past year. Tomori against Inter wasn't too hot. So now we're able to go ahead and turn things around here. I thought that they looked as well a great partnership. Continue to go ahead and one goes, one cover, and then being able to go ahead and trust Magnan in the back. All three of them just look like they work so efficiently together and they're all on the same page and understanding. and they're so pacey. So when you have Theo Hernandez up the field, and sometimes Tonali slots back in that spot to cover. Kalulu and Tamora are kind of lurking in the back there to just kind of sweep anything that goes by. So, um, I mean, what more can we say about these guys other than the fact that Kalulu continues to step up where he needs to go ahead and perform? And as we get closer to the summer mercato, I know that there's rumors and links. There's videos of Simon Kjær coming back to training looking like Viking. Uh, and then, the whole Botman situation here continues to go ahead and get going. Milan are so close to finalizing. All of that. But right now, I'm really thankful for Pierre Kalulu. I mean, he is absolutely phenomenal, and he's definitely putting that debate out there. If he should be starting in our lineup next year, and with these performances, I mean, if he's convincing me, I don't know. But Sabrina, I wanted to go ahead and get your thoughts here on the four defenders here, their performance, discussion, anything.
Yeah, I was really impressed with Teo today. It's such a shame that that goal was offside, and I wasn't even excited about it because when Macias received the ball, I'm like, he's offside.
Mm.
But I'm like, they're gonna let it play. But I thought, 6 minutes in, letting them play and like letting the guys create that play was really good. It kind of took a little bit of the pressure off. It's like, okay, it was offside, but it was a good play in, and I think that did a lot for Teo's confidence. And not only was he brilliant in attack, but he had some really crucial defensive interceptions as well. One of them, the Fiorentina player, was offside, but they didn't know that at the time. And it was a crucial, crucial interception and the cleanest tackle I've ever seen from him. And I thought that he was really great there. So, like you were saying, Teo's strength is more offensive, Calabria's strength is more defensive. I thought in their strengths, they were really solid today. And then in the things they're more weaker at, like Teo was doing pretty well defensively. And Calabria, aside from that shot that he sailed over the bar, was a lot better offensively because in the last few games, it was a big criticism of him that he was not contributing a single thing to the attack. But I thought he did a lot better with that today. And Tamori and Kalulu, my God, they looked confident today. Like their body language, the way they were, handling the ball, it looked so much different than it has in the last few games. They just looked completely on it. And once I saw that in the first few minutes, even though Fiorentina was applying the pressure at the first part of the first half, I thought, no, we got this. Like these two are on it today. Mignon's on it. Like there's no way we're conceding a goal today. And for Kalulu, you saw even too, like in the last few games, I've noticed him and Calabria must be communicating a lot because you see Calabria kind of slot into the middle. Kalulu drifts out wide and starts contributing to the attack in that way. So I like that chemistry is developing there. And if Botman does come in, he's going to have some competition as well, which for a team who wants to fight for a league title every year and try and make a run in the Champions League, that's what you want. Really good quality players battling out for starting spots. So couldn't be more impressed with Tomori and Kalulu and the way that they played today and just the mentality that they're showing for their kids. They're so young.
Yeah.
So super impressed with their maturity and ability to bounce back, and can't ask for more going into this last stretch of the season with a title on the line.
Well, nothing more exciting here coming from the other guys. Doesn't look like anybody from the other six really stood out here. Kessia Tonali held that pivot position in the middle there until Ismail Benacer came in later in the game. Kessia and Tonali. Kessia continuing to just play his game here. I know a lot of questions going on about his future here. It feels like there are so many different reports coming out of the whole Barcelona situation, and now that Milan are getting new owners here and possible financial boost. We couldn't afford him earlier. Can we afford him now? Is he performing well to go ahead and maybe get that last minute Milan renewal here? Questions are up there for debate here. Kessia's performance today, just another average one where he continues to go ahead and show just his strength, which are just continuing to win the ball, show strength, clean up on loose ends, 50-50 winnings. And then Tonali, I mean, coming off that late winner against Lazio into this game, feeling a little bit of that energy, being able to go ahead and go out there, not playing next to Ismail Benacer like he looks like he's been adapted to lately. But I feel like Tonali, a player who likes to go ahead and play a little bit deeper, receive the ball a little bit deeper, help out on our fullbacks when they go ahead and go up the field. Him slotting in there, a little bit more of a quiet performance today, and then Diaz, you kind of just go ahead and you get what you get with him. Some performances, he could go ahead and show you a glimpse of that little magic that he has. And then again, a match like this is where he's getting bodied off the ball. He's not really creating much, being there for our wide players or even Giroud up top to be an option there. A little bit of you get what you get with Diaz. Not one of his best games today. I feel like I think Torino or Bologna, the one before Inter, he showed some glimpses of a little bit of his magic, being able to go ahead and stay on his feet and progress the ball forward. But didn't see much of that today. With that, if you have a player like Diaz who's not performing really well or he's not showing you anything exciting of a creative, it just kind of isolates Olivier Giroud up there
Yeah.
alone. And when Giroud is isolated up alone, you kind of see his frustration. I feel like compared to all the other players, Giroud's visual frustration is just so strong compared to all the other ones. And I'm sure it's positive. I'm sure it's just frustration about the service. It's not about whatever's going on, frustration with
Yeah.
players. But that gives it for the guys who went ahead and started. We had substitutions go ahead and come on in. No Alexis Salamaker's making his debut here. I thought Samu Castillejo was going to make a debut. I feel like the cameraman was showing him every
I
like 3 minutes.
know.
You noticed that? I was
I
like,
did too. I'm like, is Samu coming on? Why do they keep focusing on him?
yeah. And Rebic came on and he
Excellent.
showed a lot of energy, a lot of hunger, aggressiveness, and I feel like hopefully this continues to go ahead and go forward with the rest of the matches because previously we kept asking, yo, when is he going to wake up? When is he
Yep.
going to go ahead and show us the Rebic second half season that he is, the one that comes out and just starts shithousing and showing us these goals or bringing us some type of creativity out there. And I don't know. Right now, this season, he's just being calm, not putting his hands on people. It looks like it, and then just
God.
today he shone a little bit. So I'm really happy that Rebic was able to go ahead and come onto the field. Pioli got that right and show us a
Yep.
little bit of hunger. I'm actually going to go ahead and pull up this comment here by Luis Pop. He says Pioli should start Rebic instead of coming from the bench going forward. What are your thoughts there?
Well, I mean, he was crucial in the last match against Lazio to get us that go ahead goal. And it was nice to see. It's like, I guess we're seeing second half of the second half Rebic this season. Cause I mean, let's be fair. He had a pretty bad injury. He was out for
Mhm.
a while. So yeah, it makes sense. It's going to take him a while to get back into it. Um, but I guess like if you're Pioli and you're looking at your right side and going, we're kind of handcuffed still with Macias and with Salamakers on the right side. Going into next week's game, and you see that Rebic, his energy's good, his touches are a lot cleaner, because that was a big concern when he came back from injury. His touches were really clumsy, and he just did not seem like he had his head in the game. But you saw today a lot of dribbling past players, a lot of really like decisive play from him. Why not let him start on the left and put Leao on the right? Like that's teams are not expecting that. They're not going to know how to deal with our right side having Leao there. And especially with this, Calabria and Kalulu kind of switching in and out of position, Kalulu and Leao linking up, I think would be phenomenal to see. So you got a hot Rebic, yeah, start him. If it doesn't work out, you can make the changes, but
Mhm.
he looks good. He doesn't look like someone who's coming back from injury anymore. He looks like someone who has 90 minutes in his legs, and we need that aggression.
Mhm.
We need that people who won't be bodied off the ball, people who can get around players, and really surprising, pleasantly surprising from Rebic is he hasn't looked like a walking red card. Like before with Rebic, you're looking at him, you're like, he's going to do something stupid. He's probably
Yeah.
going to get a red card, and that's going to we're going to be handcuffed for the rest of the game. But since coming back from injury, he hasn't looked like that. So yeah, give him a shot. And I mean, at this point, we can't count on Macias and Salamakers. It's just the way it is. We have 3 games left. 3 games left with the Scudetto on the line. Whoever is showing the best form should be starting. And
Well
Pioli's
said.
good at tinkering his
Mhm.
lineup. So if he needs to make it so Rebic is on the preferred left side, I have every confidence that Pioli can work it out to have all the best players starting. So I'm all in for that.
We're all in for the Pioli masterclass. I mean, I think we discussed it in the past. The right wing position. It's not working out right now. I remember when there was 8 games left. We were talking about let's test out Rebic right wing. Maybe we can
Yep.
go ahead and see something happen there. And it feels like now Rebic in form, showing great fire skill right now. I think you got to play him, and if that means over on the left wing or on the right wing. Um, I do want to go ahead and see what Leao and Kalulu in the right side looks like. That looks great. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, a little bit more of a support for Leao there with Kalulu behind him, but Rebic has to be included for me as well. I think Pioli needs to go ahead and figure out some kind of formation where you can go ahead and throw in Rebic in there. Whether that means having Kessie play the 10 as he's done in the past, and then having that Benacer and Tonali, and then just Rebic, Leao, and Giroud, and just kind of let these 3 players cook on their own,
Mm-hmm.
and then just have them have technical players who can pass behind them. Because I don't know, the way I've been watching a little bit of Milan lately in the past few matches, especially the ones where we're tying 0-0, looks like most of our attacks come from that shot clock mentality again, where
Yeah.
we have a few players up there and it's like, let's get it quickly. Let's take it to transition. It's 3v4, it's 4v3. This is our chance to score. It's not like what you see where some teams can go ahead and have possession in your half and just ping the ball around through the back, get a few touches in there. Teams are not sitting back like the Atleticos and the Burnley. It's a little bit different in Serie A. And, when Milan gets into the attack, yeah, here and there we're moving the ball around. But again, most of the attacks are pretty open and fluid in the fact that you have 4 guys going against 4 guys. It's like quick, quick, quick. And it looks like sometimes we need to go ahead and step up and have it more clinical, and these guys need to go ahead and take those chances. We can't keep missing from super close chances. We missed a
Yeah.
lot today, and I'm glad that we got one. But it also hurts us. I mean, when we conceded against Inter, Lautaro Martinez's second goal, it was like 3 Inter players against 6 of our Milan guys. And so, again,
Yeah.
it's that open fluidity and just taking full advantage of that. So if Pioli wants to go ahead and go forward with the Rebic, Leao, Giroud, and again, Kessie, Tonali, Benacer triangle in the midfield. That's a good lineup in my opinion. It's a little bit experimental, and then it's got the best of the best players out there. These 3 matches going forward are the most important one. I don't. We can't sit back here and talk about Salernitana, Bologna, Torino, Spezia anymore. If we get
Yep.
these 9 points, so this each game going forward is going to be treated like a final, like a Scudetto final match, and hopefully come last day of the season here on the final post-match review, we'll be celebrating, or at least we'll be celebrating a Scudetto, even though it'll be a 0-0 tie. So that's what I'm hoping. Worst is, but
That would be quite the cap to end the season if that's what we did.
celebrate on stream 0-0, the only one of the year. So um, that's all I have to go ahead and say here on the player ratings, guys. I'm gonna say Pioli rating of 7 is well deserved. The
Yep.
players just had the right mentality today. They were very energetic, a little bit unlucky on a few offside calls and referee decisions, but we're over that. Managed to go ahead and break the deadlock here in the 82nd minute, thanks to Rafael Leao. 1-0. What more can you go ahead and say, guys? It started great Sunday. I mean, it was early match for me. I don't know about you. Kickoff was at 7 a.m. I was like, oh, let's get up. Let's get up.
Yeah, it
Eh,
was 9 o'clock here, but it's still well worth it to get up and see that. And like, good for Pioli, who he kept the guys focused. He actually gave them 2 days off after the Lazio game, and you saw the players on social media taking trips. I think Giroud went to Venice. I saw, I think maybe Salamax or something was in London. So the guys got 2 well-deserved days off, came back to training on the Wednesday, and they still had their heads in the game. And Pioli was intelligent enough to see the players who were struggling. Diaz was struggling, Macias was struggling, and Giroud, while I don't exactly think it was his fault that he was struggling, he did miss some crucial chances too. So good for Pioli for saying, listen, I know you guys are trying, which they definitely were. They were really, really trying, but at the end of the day, you're struggling and let's take you out. And his substitutions were great. Rebic was good when he came in. Krunic was great when he came in as well. And Ibra, a little rusty still, but you have to say, like, you know, his agent passed away yesterday, and he's always said that Mino's more like a brother to him than an agent. So you kind of get that he wasn't exactly 100% there. But all the same, he wasn't a liability. So Pioli spot on with the lineup that he put out and then making those in-game changes that needed to happen. So I'm really, really happy with Pioli, and it's encouraging to see with 3 games left.
It is really encouraging to see with 3 games left, just the team, a little bit of that connection. Everything's clicking coming off of that Lazio win, and it's a continue. Hopefully, this momentum continues because we want to be Scudetto champions, and you know, if it took us this long for our mentality to click, then be it. You know, I struggled in the past. That's the past. You know, we were frustrated in the past, but now, you know, if we're clicking now, and we have 3 matches to go, and we get it done. I don't know what more you can ask for it. It's the results that matter now. So I'm excited. The player ratings are well deserved. Pioli's rating is well deserved. I made the mistake, I think, a couple of weeks ago, Sabrina, of going on Twitter and looking up the hashtag Pioli out, reading all these comments.
Reactionary comments.
Yeah. I'm like, can't sit through this. So I am still loving the job Pioli's doing here at Milan. And any final thoughts here on the player ratings before I go ahead and put down this copy here?
Yeah, I was proud of Krunic, and seeing how excited he got when Leao scored. The emotion on his face was just beautiful. And that just speaks to the kind of squad we have, that Krunic knows that he's a bench player and he just comes on as a sub, and he still gets really excited for this team. And I know Benacer was not in peak physical condition because he had a little bit of an injury. So to see him come on was nice, and hopefully he can start the next game because he's been absolute animal for us this season. So really, really encouraging seeing Benacer back on the field, and really, really hope that we could get him in there alongside Tonali because those two have developed such a great chemistry together. But yeah, overall, I can't really complain about anyone. And maybe I would if we didn't end up getting that goal. But as it stands, really, really solid performance from the guys. And I don't know, I just felt confident in this one that we were going to get that win, even though we left it really late. So super happy, wasn't too stressed the whole game, and looking forward to the next 3 games that are going to be really tough. All 3 teams we're playing are very beatable, but also have the potential to cause us some heartbreak. Verona, Atalanta, Sassuolo. Atalanta's not having their best season, so I'm a little more confident about that. Sassuolo's kind of a bogey team for us, but we saw how Napoli dismantled them yesterday with pretty much all their starters playing. So we just have to go ahead and play our game and know that these are 3 teams that like to attack as well. So as long as we're solid in defense, we know that we can have our chances in attack as well, because they're not just going to sit back and park the bus. But it's time to be clinical, because we can't be doing this where we're in front of the net with all the time in the world and just, like you said, shot clock kind of mentality where it's like quick fire, quick fire, quick fire. You've got that time in front of the net. Don't take too long, but also don't make a stupid split second decision that can be costly for us. You've got that time. You're pretty much open in front of the net. Take your time, make it count. So if Pioli can kind of drill that into the guys in the attack to be more clinical, I feel really confident for these last 3 games. And I don't even want to hope that Inter drop points, because if they don't, it's just going to be disappointing. So I'm not expecting anything from anyone who's playing Inter. And I just hope to be pleasantly surprised, like we all were when they played Bologna, because not in 1 million years did I think that Bologna would even get 1 point off of Inter. So let's just take care of our business and just go from there.
We have some pretty hard matches coming up. These are not walk in the park. I mean, Verona away from home, and then having Atalanta, and then Sassuolo away from home to end the season. Struggled against Sassuolo a little bit throughout this season.
Yeah.
Atalanta has been trying to manage some European ball and Serie A, although they're not been doing so well in Serie A. They're out of almost every cup competition, so they just have these Serie A matches left. And who knows? They're a shithouse team, so they could go ahead and just come out for some reason on the 15th of May against Milan like it's the Champions League final to them. You never know.
Yep.
And Hellas Verona, a team very much like Sassuolo and Simeone, scoring a bunch of goals right now. So definitely a good test for our Pierre Kalulu, Tomori, and Magnan in the back. But we can't go ahead and step off the gas one bit. No draws. It's gonna have to be 3 points here and out everywhere. Because again, we can't be sitting here hoping that Inter drops more points.
No.
If anything, we thought Udinese was going to be the team here.
Yeah.
But Bologna got it done. So can't complain. Want to go ahead and let everyone give an understanding here of what looks like for Milan reports here. As we go ahead and finish the Serie A season, Sabrina and I, hopefully Matt, Miguel, and others will go ahead and continue to join us to cover the last few matches here of the Serie A Scudetto race. And, fingers crossed, our last one here will be an exciting party. But it should be a good one. Regardless, it's been an exciting season, just covering almost every match here. You guys can go ahead and continue to follow us on all of our social media platforms, and especially on Twitter, where we go ahead and release articles almost every day, where we're keeping up with inside information with the Investor Corp and Elliott deal here. I'm also bringing you as much news coming out of Milanello that's going on with Milan staff, the players, and I think our guys who write these articles are awesome. I mean, I read them every morning where I clock in for work, and they're easy reads and they're great, and they keep me in the loop here with what's going on around Milan. So, and I know that we have idea here and speculation going forward that we want to go ahead and do another show where we just talk about Milan news, where we can go ahead and discuss about the summer market that's coming up, the players on the team, player discussion, team discussion, not necessarily just matches right after the match. So keep you posted on that stuff. But a lot of great things are coming out. This was a great win to go ahead and close out the weekend here on a good Sunday. Sabrina, it's always awesome to go ahead and podcast with you. Thankfully, not another 0-0. I don't think I have the mental strength to just do that again. So want to go ahead and say thanks again. I want to thank everyone who joined in the chat and left some awesome comments in there. And just hoping everyone has a great rest of your weekend. All right. Forza Milan, and we'll catch you at the next one against Verona. Bye.